much. I'm excited now to hear from our second project from Cal State Long Beach, which this one is called Visions of the Long Beach Breakwater. So yeah, I understand this project also uses the augmented reality experience, but this time it's to develop and promote strategies supporting a sustainable ocean ecosystem around the Long Beach breakwater. So yeah, students from Long Beach, let's throw it back to you to hear about another project.
Thank you very much. As you can see from the first project, the Long Beach is an area with a lot of human construction, human intervention at a scale that can be seen from space. So there is a lot of work to do, and the Long Beach Breakwater team will talk about the work that they're doing.
Sounds great. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Great. So yes, our project is on the Long Beach Breakwater and augmented reality experience. I'm Carissa, and on my team, I also have Precious and Brian. And before we get started into anything, we wanted to show you a documentary that we created to give you more of a history and a context on the Long Beach Breakwater. Please let me know if the sound is not playing.
Long Beach, a city known for great weather, lots of diversity, and a coastline with great beaches. But some locals might also argue that their beautiful beach city is filled with trash, and more trash.
They're nice, but they can definitely be a bit dirty at times with like plastic and trash and stuff, so.
Craig Hendricks with the Historical Society of Long Beach said that the city's nickname was Queen of the Beaches, and it was known as the Waikiki of Long Beach. But what most people might not know is that there is a large contributing factor to ocean pollution, and that is the Long Beach Breakwater. This 2-mile rock wall of the coast of Long Beach has been one of the most important and controversial pieces of infrastructure in Southern California for the past 70 years. Constructed in the 1940s in the midst of World War II, the Long Beach Breakwater was built by the U.S. Navy as part of a deepwater port project. It served as a barrier and deterrent to enemy submarines. But the Navy port closed in 1997, and with no shipyard or shelter to defend, the necessity of the breakwater has been in question ever since. Groups like the Surfrider Foundation argue that the breakwater is contributing to the city's ongoing pollution and trash problem. Trash comes directly from the LA River, which funnels tons of debris downstream. And because the breakwater cuts off at natural ocean pollution, much of that trash ends up lingering close by the shore. It's estimated that maintenance crews will rake up over 2,500 tons of trash from the LA River in 2022 alone. That's like filling up 63 semi-trucks with trash. So what can be done about it? Well, the breakwater isn't going anywhere anytime soon, but joining advocacy groups like Surfriders, Think Earth, and the Sierra Club can give people the opportunity to educate themselves and others about keeping the beaches of Long Beach beautiful and clean.
Great. So we hope that that gave you a little bit more context and background on what the Long Beach Breakwater is. As I said in the video, the LA River is going to rake up 2,500 tons of trash in 2022 alone. That trash is going to travel a 50-mile river from all over Los Angeles County. And what's going to happen is all this trash that's going down here, it's going to end up in Long Beach. And that's because there's a breakwater that's cutting off that natural ocean pollution. And that means a lot of that trash is going to end up on the beaches of Long Beach. So this might be the first time that you have heard of the Long Beach Breakwater, and we would argue that that is the same case for a lot of people. We interviewed 12 people on Rosie's Dog Beach here in Long Beach, and some of the things that we came to find was that one, most are from Long Beach or they're from Southern California. Two, their thoughts on Long Beach include that there's a lot of ocean pollution, there's trash, lots of plastic, it's neglected. Three, they think a way of solving this ocean pollution and the problem is by awareness and education. And last, they don't know anything about, most don't know about the Long Beach Breakwater. So really diving into, solving ocean pollution, the problem, and by what they believe is by education, we wanted to really dive deep into what that means and the future possibilities. And what we came to find was that, really the future possibilities of education really is in augmented reality, virtual reality, So we wanted to make sure that we were taking those into account. As well, we wanted to make sure that we were taking into account our LA County goals from Pando and our UN Sustainable Development Goals, because we believe that this is not only important here in Los Angeles County, but all over the world as well. So this comes to our challenge. We know that people believe that ocean pollution in Long Beach is bad. We know that people argue a way to solve the problems by education. And we know that the future of education is by AR and VR experiences. And we know that people do not know about the Long Beach breakwater. So this comes to our challenge is how are we going to help the community of Long Beach find ways to educate themselves and others about Long Beach that's going to affect them and future generations. So this really brings us to our solution statement, which is really being able to create an immersive experience by educating people on the history, the consequences, and the call to action for beach communities to empower to catalyze. So I'll go ahead and pass it over to Precious now.
So after we decided on our solution statement, we decided to focus in on our target users. So of course, it would directly impact the Long Beach residents, residents that interact with the ocean interface, but also residents that have different education levels on the Long Beach breakwater, what it does and how it affects. That also served as a basis for our user persona. So ultimately, there's someone who engages with their environment, but doesn't know how to quite impact their environment in a positive way. Within our AR experience, we hope to take the user from uninformed or worried or concerned about the environment to someone that is informed, ultimately leading them to a course of action. Going into our lo-fi designs, so we ideated between a scavenger hunt and a carousel, and we ultimately decided to go with a carousel idea. This carousel hosted a total of 7 posters, taking them through the history and all the information that we gathered as well. And it ended in a course of action. So of course, we wanted the experience to directly impact Long Beach. So we wanted it to be something that they can take away knowledge, but also something that they could hopefully implement. Then we also had our filter designs that our users can interact with. And of course, we had to test out the filter before translating it into the real world. And now I will call on my colleague, Brian.
In the development of our process as well, we created a digital twin of Rosie's Dog Beach, which I will show a short clip here. So this is supposed to represent how our project would look like as a permanent AR installation on Rosie's Dog Beach. This was created in twin motion. As you can see, there's some people surrounded around the sign interacting with the poster, and there would be a QR code where they can scan it and basically interact with the AR filter. And then we also used Metaspark AR to create the AR filter. We imported the flyers into the program in order to create a carousel Instagram filter. And here's a short demo.
Hi, welcome to this AR immersive experience. We hope you'll enjoy learning more about the Long Beach breakwater and ways you can get involved to help fight ocean pollution.
Flyers.
We will guide you along each stop, and you can follow the arrow of the beaches.
There's also a selfie filter.
Hi.
So there's 2 components to it. And also in additional preparation, we created a Adobe Express digital flyer detailing the details of our analog day, just like when we're holding it and the time and what we'll be doing. And we distributed this before we held our analog day. So on our analog day, this is the route we followed. We started at Rosie's Dog Beach. We walked up and down Rosie's Dog Beach in order to have people scan the filter or the QR code. And we walked down Granada Avenue, and we also interacted with people on 2nd Street as well. And during our analog day, we printed out a poster with the QR code on it so people can scan it whenever we're packed. You can see here there's a picture of someone on Rosie's Dog Beach scanning the QR code in order to access the filter. The main goal of our analog day was to get direct feedback from people after scanning the QR code and interacting with the filter, because we knew that we could have just posted a poster on the beach and have people scan the QR code. But if we did that, we wouldn't have been able to get feedback as easily and as directly as we did during the analog day. And what our analog day, the findings of it taught us is that that the local business owners along 2nd Street and the people we saw on Rosie's Dog Beach, they all corroborated things that we have found out in the development of our project, such as some people didn't know that the breakwater existed, and some people know a little bit about it, but not entirely what the purpose of the breakwater was. And here are some metrics from the air filter that we had. The most important thing on this graphic, I would say, is that the average time open for the filter was almost 3 minutes long, which means that people weren't just opening up the filter and then closing it. They were actually interacting with it, having it open, listening to the audio, and educating themselves through looking at the flyers on the filter. And for the next steps, we want to iterate on the feedback that we received from people interacting with the air filter, such as this message we received on Instagram from someone who interacted with the filter. And from that, we want to improve on the user experience. And we've been trying to partner with organizations in order to have the filter advertised on their page in order to reach a wider audience and educate people about the breakwater. And finally, our end goal is to have a permanent or semi-permanent installation at Rosie's Dog Beach in order to have it relevant to the local community of Long Beach. Thank you for watching our presentation.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you so much. I love this, just the positive approach that you bring around the breakwater with the complex history it faces, but also just how thoughtful, the process as a whole was as well. So excited to see what our panelists think. I think this time I'd love to start with Mary Beth, since we ended with you last time. Yeah, what do you think?
Thank you. It's perplexing. I like the comment of whoever put it in the chat that the breakwater keeps a lot of pollution from going out into the ocean. And I grew up along that breakwater as well, and we used to never swim right out to it, but try to see as close as we could get to it. And it's pretty impressive. But that I didn't realize until your overview map that all the LA River trash and stuff ends up right there, caught in that area. So I think education is key, cleaning up the river from where it starts all the way down, and doing what can be done to keep it clean. And I think the connection with Rosie's Beach, that's a very popular place for people. You have to go all the way to Huntington Beach for a dog park if you don't go to Rosie's Beach. And I just think it's got a lot of possibilities. And again, it's a really important thing to do. I think that it's sort of a knee-jerk reaction that we should get rid of the breakwater, but the implications of that are huge. And because it would change the whole dynamics, of the Long Beach shoreline. So focusing on how to keep it clean and how to educate people about its importance, I think, is really key. So well done. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for your feedback.
Thank you. Chris, how about we turn to you next?
Yeah, I really love this project, and I share some previous experiences, with the project team here, specifically on creating awareness of trash. I did a lot of research when I was at UCLA, in my PhD program in Bayona Creek, and working through some shock value, I guess, and just seeing all that trash after a storm, for example, work well in ensuring that, folks who see those pictures, who see that kind of, or who experience that kind of experience, really realize and within their networks talk about the importance of keeping the trash in the can. So I really love that in that context, and having the educational component of this being available, through a VR experience, really puts, such awareness and educational value to the next level, and again, creating that access to for more people to show or to know. The only cautionary tale there, and also maybe this is particularly relevant for the first project as well, is that access to the ocean and to bodies of water is very limiting to many communities in the inland cities of Los Angeles, and more so, in those communities as well. The digital divide is very pronounced and very real, and so just kind of think about that. When you move towards a digital platform and creating awareness that many folks your age and students' age may not necessarily have those kinds of resources, that you're creating access to in terms of this awareness. And the last thing I just want to mention is that I sit on the LA County Beach Commission, and a part of the work that we're trying to do there is exactly what your goal is in your project. So maybe there's some opportunity there that the Department of Beaches and Harbors could work together with you at some point, when your project is fully developed and takes off. And in this research on alternative forms of education. I'm pretty sure, Gary Jones, who's the director of the LA County Beaches and Harbors, would be a willing listener, on what the potentials are on this opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. That sounds like a wonderful connection as well. LaRonda, I would love to throw it to you. Do you have a question for the team as well? I would love to see what you think.
I thought it was a really good presentation. I also heard something before on the, what do we do about that long ago, military piece of equipment that still sits in the ocean and still does its job. And Chris, I appreciated your idea, your thought about, it does do a job, not just, clutters up the ocean, but also does a job. And so a lot of thought, I think, in bringing together the different perspectives to come up with a solution that everybody can live with. So my thought on that is that I've not walked in either of your shoes, but if I put on my imagination hat, I think that I would start with not just the local environmental organizations, but also the high schools, the junior colleges, the people that are going to be out there using that ocean the most and for a long time. And I would bring these questions up to them as, this is your future we're thinking about, and how would you handle it? How would you like us to handle it? What suggestions come out of your generation? That's what I would want to know, because they probably either haven't given any thought. I'm thinking of friends of mine who still live in Long Beach and still use the beaches a lot there. But don't really, this is only the second time I've heard this conversation. And so people that are affected may not actually realize it, because it's not something that they've talked about. They didn't grow up with parents who talked to them about this thing. And so I would encourage you to reach out to, the 16 to 22 age group folks and really have them think with you for the future. Now, you're thinking about your children and your children's children and get their brain rolling in that way. But I do think you guys are doing a good job. I was in Venice not too long ago at the Venice Beach, and they had a similar program, just a place where you could go, and it showed you how much more polluted the beach is now and the ocean is than it was 10 years ago. And you're thinking, well, I'm looking around, I'm not seeing that many more people. But just things like that, there were flyers they handed out. I didn't see any good posters or like the statistics that you guys offered. I think that would be important to people to know, what's changing, but in a way that I can not only see as a pile of trash or, limited breakwater, but as a way that I can imagine doing something differently myself that would show up in that pile next time. I don't know if that makes any sense, but just making it more personal and taking it down to the younger generations, as well as continuing to bring it up. Those would be my thoughts. You can do that with community meetings, city council meetings in the area, working with the schools. All of them would be useful to you and probably welcome you. So good luck with it. I think it's a good idea to keep working together.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The team thanks you. We definitely realize the importance of, education and learning from different perspectives, as well as collaborating with different partners. You talked about high schools and colleges. Yeah, everyone is impacted ultimately. And we definitely want it to be something that creates a positive impact we're not only thinking about us, like you said, we're thinking about future generations, our kids, the people that live after them. So yeah, thank you to all the panelists and everyone that commented as well. So yeah, thanks for your time, guys.
Great. All right. Well, thanks again, Long Beach. Great work on those two projects. We're going to